Hello students, Jai Hind, good morning, welcome back to our e-learning program. When you are attending lectures of this chapter, the school must have, will be started, understand offline, right? If you can remember, in our last lecture, in lecture number 2, in chapter number 11, we have studied about in detail various defects of vision. Understand, if you can remember those defects of vision which we have covered in last lecture, human beings suffer from 3 types of defects of vision, as you all know. One is myopia, which we call nearsightedness. Mostly this defect of vision is seen in person, understand, in young age. In child also myopia can be seen, which we call nearsightedness. Hypermetropia, which we call farsightedness, is seen in people, understood, who are aged, means those who have crossed the age of 40 around, understand, usually this defect of vision is seen in them. And with the process, understand, with the aging process, it happens, dear student, that your ciliary muscles, your eyeball, your iris muscles, understand, also lose their flexibility with the aging process. As you all know, with the aging process, this is going to happen, dear student, like your bones also become weaker, your skin also gets wrinkles, your hair goes brownish and white. Similar happens with your internal structure of eye. All parts also show some weakness with the aging process. Understood? And sometime a time come that you will have no option left except the surgery of your eye. When your eye lens become totally out of the order, totally rigid, understand, and loses complete flexibility, sometime dust and all also deposits on your eye lens, understand. At that time, when your eye lens become 100% rigid, it needs to be removed by only surgery, that you all know very well, and we have discussed yesterday. If you can remember, in in last lecture number 2, I utilized the word presbyopia, the third defect of vision, where person is suffering from both defect of vision, nearsightedness and farsightedness, myopia and hypermetropia. Both defect of vision is seen in person, where he needs to wear bifocal lens, that you all know very well, and we have studied it also. Okay, dear student. Now, in today's lecture, we are going to target topic number 2, that is refraction of light through prism. 2.1, dispersion of white light by prism, that we discuss, understand, and we will also discuss rainbow formation, topic number 2. Okay, dear student. In today's lecture, okay, first we have to first understand, before we discuss the topic of prism in today's lecture number 3. Lecture number 3, chapter 11, as you know. What's the title of the chapter, dear student? Human eye and colorful world. Human eye and colorful world. And in this, dear student, we are going to discuss today the topic number 2, where we will discuss refraction of light through prism. Very important question. Refraction of light through prism. 2 other topics, rainbow formation and dispersion of light, are actually related with this main topic only. First, we need to understand this particular topic, refraction of light through prism. Understood? First, dear student, before we discuss this topic, you need to understand the meaning of prism. What is actually prism? How prism is made? Like I told you when we have studied refraction of light through glass slab, a rectangular solid piece of glass, understand, is called glass slab. Similarly here, dear student, what is prism actually? Just try to understand. If we draw prism, okay, prism is looking this way. If we just try to draw prism, dear student, I just want to explain you how the prism looks like. Okay, this is prism. You can visualize prism in diagram. What you are observing actually, the prism has, dear student, it is 3-dimensional triangular solid piece of glass which has 2 triangular faces. See, this is first and this is second. You understood? 2 triangular faces it has, as well 3 rectangular lateral surface. If you can visualize properly, dear student, the first one is this. See, I am showing by arrow. This one back, then this front, second, and third bottom. You understood? So you can say that prism is a triangular piece of glass having 2, I must say, 2 triangular faces. You understood this? And 3 rectangular lateral surface. Okay, if, dear student, you are asked in exam out of the blue, sometime paper setter like to test your knowledge and will like to get information from you that you have seen prism, you know how to explain refraction of light through prism, but if you are asked what is prism, then the student might feel difficulty in explaining what is prism is about. So remember, dear student, prism is a triangular piece of glass, solid piece of glass having 2 triangular bases and 3 rectangular lateral surfaces. Can be asked also in one line. Prism has, looking simple, okay, prism has how many triangular faces? 2. Prism has how many rectangular lateral surfaces? 3. So that way also you need to remember. Actually, we are targeting the topic. One more thing, dear student. These are edges of the prism. Whatever angle between the edges of the prism, this angle is called actually prism angle. Remember this, dear student. Prism angle means the angle between the edges of the prism. You understood? Now let us try to understand refraction of light through prism through one activity 2. How refraction take place? Now, dear student, when we are performing this particular experiment, if you are taking this prism, you are taking prism and resting on the sheet of paper in this way that one of the triangular base, one of the triangular face will rest on the table and you are actually watching through this. That's why the diagram you can see, okay? Let us understand the topic 2.1. What is that? Refraction of light through prism, okay? Refraction of light through prism. I am explaining the whole activity. It can be asked in 4 marks, okay? Describe refraction of light through prism. First, dear student, what is this activities about? First, you have to take a plain white sheet of paper and that is to be stamped on a plain surface, okay? Suppose you consider this board when we are performing this experiment, that this board is your table on which white sheet of paper has been already spread and clamped. Now you take prism, okay, and keep prism in such a way that one of its triangular face will rest on the table, okay, and we are observing prism this way, dear student. Try to understand. This is prism. You can see in material also. This is prism ABC. After I rest prism on the white sheet of paper, I am drawing the boundary of the prism with the help of pencil. This is that triangular face which is resting on the white sheet of paper, which I have drawn as prism ABC. Okay. Now, dear student, prism now 3 refracting surface, if you can see, 1, 2 and 3. Our target are these 2 refracting surface, AB and AC. So for that, dear student, like we were doing in glass slab, draw one inclined line. Let me call it PQ as label are given. Label so we can change, but because it will not create any confusion in your mind, that's why PQ. One line is drawn on the sheet of paper which is inclined at some angle with this refracting surface AB. Is it clear in your mind? Now, dear student, what to do? Just try to understand. Take two pins. Understand, two pins are taken and these two pins are inserted on this inclined line. Suppose I say pin P1 and I say pin P2. Okay, two pins are taken, they are inserted, understand, on this inclined line. Now what you will do? You will try to observe the images of pin P1 and P2 from other side through this refracting surface and try to insert pin P3 and P4 in such a way that they all look in the same line. You understood, dear student? This is very important for you to understand. What we have done? We have inserted two pins P1 and P2 on this line inclined at an angle with AB at angle less than 90 degree. Try to see the image of this from the other side of the prism. Understand and make sure that these two inserted pin physically, an image of P1 and P2 seen through this refracting surface, all look in the same line. This is experiment over. Now what you need to do, just remove the prism. Boundaries are already drawn. Understand, remove pin P3 and P4 and draw a line passing through the holes made by this, and let us call it RS. You understood this. Now join, I may say here E, I may say here F. This inclined line PQ is meeting refracting surface AB at E. This inclined line RS meeting refracting surface AC at F. Prism has already been removed. Okay, dear student. Now what to do? Like you were doing in glass slab, draw one line which is perpendicular to AB. Let me call, as per the material I am mentioning, let me call NN dash, which is normal. NN dash is normal at surface AB. Let me draw another normal at surface AC. Let me call it MM dash. Is it clear? Now, dear student, try to understand. If I just mention arrows in the diagram, you can come to know that ABC is prism. This PQ becomes incident ray. NN dash becomes normal. The angle between normal and incident ray is angle of incidence. Angle between refracted ray and normal is angle of refraction. For this refracting surface again, this is angle of incidence, and this is called actually angle of refraction, but because the ray is emerging out, I can say it angle of emergence, that is E. Okay. Now, dear student, from the diagram, which things are observed? The PQ or PE, QE, whatever you can write, it becomes incident ray. EF becomes refracted ray. Fs or Rs, whatever you can say, becomes emergent ray. Here one angle is formed. Can you name this angle? Angle PEN. This is angle of incidence. Here angle FEN dash, angle of refraction. Here, dear student, angle M dash FR becomes angle of emergence. Okay. Now, dear student, what you need to understand here is that you understood when we were studying refraction of light through glass slab, what I explained at that time, when a ray of light enters from rarer to denser medium, it bends towards normal, and when it emerges out from denser to rarer, it bends away from normal. The same phenomenon is also observed in prism. Try to understand. See, dear student, what is the medium here? As you all know, medium air. What is this medium? Glass. And again, what is this medium? Air. Air means rarer medium, glass means denser medium. What you can see, dear student, this is incident ray. Okay, I am not writing here because we need space to write some other thing. This is incident ray. If it has to travel, not prism is there, then it will continue to travel this way. If no prism, but because of prism, dear student, this incident ray, rather than going in its original direction, bends this way, means it is turning towards the normal, which you can understand. That means the law is already followed, that when the ray of light travel from rarer to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. And now, dear student, watch here. For this refracting surface, the ray of light was going this way. If there would be no prism, it must have traveled this way. But because prism is there, rather than traveling this way, it bends this way, means it is trying to move away from the normal. Again, the same law is followed, that ray of light, when passing from denser to rarer medium, bends away from normal. Both the case, like you have studied in rectangular glass slab, rarer to denser towards the normal, denser to rarer away from the normal. Here in case of prism, dear student, can you see one thing? The ray of light is bending towards the base twice, one this way and one this way. You understand? It bends towards base twice. You understood this? All laws are followed. Now, dear student, one more thing. This is the way incident ray is going, and this is, as you know, emergent ray. This is emergent ray, that you know. You understood? Now, I have extended incident ray. If I extend, dear student, emergent ray behind, then what I can see that both the rays are meeting here. Suppose as per material I should symbolize it. If I say G, the one angle is getting formed here. Understand? Can you see this angle is forming between what? So this angle is forming between incident ray and emergent ray. This particular angle, dear student, is known as angle of deviation, which is designated by symbol delta. Okay, this is the symbol of angle of deviation, a very important topic to remember and understand. Can be asked in one liner. What is angle of deviation? How can you justify your answer? Angle formed between incident ray and emergent ray is known as angle of deviation. It is designated by symbol delta. Now, dear student, what is actually this angle of deviation, or what it suggests? Understand? So try to understand. Suppose I say angle of deviation is 47 degree. What it suggests? It gives you an idea. See, as I roll my pen, try to understand. Incident ray by this angle bends and form emergent ray. I roll my pen again. Incident ray by this angle forms emergent ray. So when you are asked in one liner that angle of deviation is 47 degree, what does it mean? It means, dear student, it is the degree measure of the angle by which incident ray bends to form emergent ray. You understood this? Okay. So one thing is that difference is clear in your mind. In case of rectangular glass slab, incident ray and emergent ray are parallel to each other. Here it is not the case. Incident ray and emergent ray are not parallel to each other, but they are inclined at one particular angle, which angle can be called angle of deviation. You understood? This is the way, dear student, the topic of refraction of light through prism can be understood. Now one more thing, dear student, if we just take the topic 2.1, that is dispersion of light through prism. Let us take that topic. What is the topic? Dispersion of light through prism. Okay. Topic 2.2. What is the topic? Dispersion of light, okay, through prism. Dispersion of light through prism. What is this word is about, dear student? What do you understand by this particular word, dispersion of light through prism? It has been explained and made clear to you many times by me, even when we studied refraction of light, okay, that light, actually the white light is made up of 7 color light. You all know it's a confluence of 7 color. Understand? Now all light travel with same equal velocity in air and vacuum, but moment the white light enter in any other medium except air or vacuum, all light will start traveling with different velocity. So what happens, dear student, if we perform one activity to understand this? I have precisely tried my best in material to mention the topic dispersion of white light by prism 2.1, dear students. So sorry, okay. So at that time I have also given the activity number also 2.1 so that you can synchronize and understand. Suppose what is actually given in this. If you take a prism, dear student, if this is prism, the experiment to be performed in dark room, okay, you take a screen, okay, screen is taken, screen is placed here, and now, dear student, if white light is allowed to fall on prism inclined at some angle, that's for definite, this is white light. Okay, when white light is incident on the prism, what you can observe on the white screen kept on the other side, within short period of time, dear student, you will see, understand, a band of 7 color on the screen kept here. Understand, starting this way. You are able to observe a band of 7 color on the screen. Why it happens, dear student? Because when white light is passing through prism, it splits into 7 color because all different colored light travel with different velocity. Because they travel with different velocity, they undergo different type of refraction, some more, some less. As a result, because they undergo different type of refraction, we are able to see a band of 7 color. Okay, dear student, this way. This process of white light splitting into 7 colored light is known as dispersion of light, or you may call sometimes splitting of light also. Understand, dear student? This word can also be utilized, splitting of white light, splitting of light or dispersion of light. We are able to see a band of 7 color where violet lies in the bottom and red lies at the top. That means which color, which light get refracted most or deviates most? Violet. Remember, dear student, for one liner, violet most refracted light, okay? Red least refracted light. You understood this? Means during the splitting of light, which light get deviated maximum? The violet. Which deviated minimum? So that is red light. Okay, dear students, so splitting of white light into 7 color can be called a dispersion of light, and this is a spectrum of light consisting of those 7 colors: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. That means the white light splitted into 7 color. Okay. Now, dear student, white light is made up of 7 color. The proof of that I am not just mentioning, but if you take 2 prism, one prism this way, another prism in inverted position, then first prism will split white light into 7 color, next prism will make combination of 7 color and emerges out as white light. That means the splitting of light is a natural optical phenomenon where white light splits into 7 color. Okay, this phenomenon, dear student, dispersion of light is such an optical phenomenon which can be observed in nature. That is the rainbow formation, as you all know. Mostly rainbow can be observable during the monsoon season, maybe in morning or in afternoon. Understand? Actually what happens, dear student, during rainy season, the clouds are full of water droplets. Each water droplets behaves as a prism. When sunlight falls on it, the same phenomenon occurs, dear student, that sunlight falls on the drops of light present in the cloud. Each drop of light behaves like a prism and refraction take place. Dispersion of light take place and you are able to see a huge band of 7 color in the sky. What is that? Which we call rainbow. Because sunlight falls on droplets of water, that means when sun is in the morning, sun is rising from the east direction, you are able to see rainbow in the west direction because light falls and rainbow formation take place. In afternoon or evening, because the sun is setting in west direction, you are able to see rainbow formation in east direction. Are you able to see rainbow at noon? Not at all, dear student. What happens? Suppose the clouds full of water droplet, I am just showing one. This is sun overhead at noon. The rays of light from sun is directly falling at an angle of 90 degree on the droplets of light and no splitting take place. Understand? So no dispersion of light, no rainbow can be observed at noon. Understood, dear student? So this is formation of rainbow, which has been also given in material. You can understand that mostly the rainbow occurs in the direction opposite to sun. In morning, rainbow can be seen in west direction. In evening, it can be seen in east direction, exactly opposite to the sun for the dispersion of light to take place. Is it clear in your mind? So, dear student, in today's lecture, we have taken the topic completely, topic number 2. Under this 2.1, 2.2, understand that is rainbow formation, dispersion of white light by prism and splitting of light. Okay. So what we are doing today, dear student, that from material, what is the homework for today's lecture, dear student? You will write question number 11, 12, 13 and 14. Where should I mention the homework? Here. Please note down your homework. From material, which department you all know? Understand? Sawal hamara, jawab tumhara. Which question answer you will write? 11, 12, 13 and 14, which we have already discussed in lecture. 11, describe refraction of light through prism. Understand, we have explained, then explained dispersion of white light through prism. Then what is spectrum? I have written SLP. You know, dear student, what is spectrum? A band of 7 colored light formed when white light falls on the prism, that is known as spectrum. Okay, write a short note on rainbow, that is already given there. So dear student, in today's lecture we completed topic number 2. You understood this? Okay, thank you very much.